Hey, singing community. It's your girl Simone, and I want to welcome you to my 8-week long series of bringing back the village with yours truly. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Simone Elise Mouchette. I am a licensed master's social worker. My niche is trauma-informed practice, human and child development. And my personal mission is to break generational cycles of trauma through trauma storytelling primarily. And I coach parents, educators, and fellow colleagues on how to work with young people that are in crisis or who has traumas. Some of my background and my credentials: I have 3 degrees. I'm working on the 4th one right now. I have a bachelor's of arts in psychology, a master's of arts in teaching, a master's in social work and child and family welfare, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in social work. I've had 7 years of classroom teaching experience. I was an English teacher in middle and high school, and then I transitioned to a school social work position. I was a elementary school social worker for 6 years, and in between that time, I also was a family therapist for 3 years. So overall, I have about 13 to 14 years experience working with children and families from an educational standpoint and from a social work standpoint in various settings that young people are in. So with that being said, recently I've posted a few things about leaving the school system, and my major reasoning for that is that the way the current school system is set up, it is actually broken, and many of the dynamics of how it's happening, it's not really servicing our young people. And our young people are going through a lot of different challenges, social and emotional wise, and so on and so forth. And adults are having a hard time managing their behavior for various different reasons. But the root of the problem that we all can agree is that trauma is definitely a major contributing factor as to why their behaviors are difficult to manage. So I've heard so many parents cry, and I've also, I'm an ABA therapist as well, and I've gone back to that setting, and I've been in some daycares, and I've just seen how from daycare all the way up to high school, how the adults are struggling to train up children, and that's making it more difficult to manage their behavior. So this 8-week series is really about me just coming on here for 30 minutes just to connect with parents, youth professional everywhere, to have a real conversation, the conversation that you're not allowed to have at work, the things that are really concerning you, or the barriers that you are truly having while trying to reach or connect with young people. We want to address them here. And then hopefully, if you found this to be helpful, you can book a session with me, a consultation with me. I'm happy to sit with you, assess what's going on, to make a deeper plan to address your specific issue for sure. But this is just my way to give you guys some gems and allow you to ask me some questions that's going on in your specific situations. Because, of course, what I'm saying are huge blanket statements. I could go into individual scenarios all day, every day, and this series will never end. But these are just some blanket, just things that I think if we all go back to some of these foundational thoughts, that we can help our young people moving forward. So the topic for today that I wanted to first address is clear expectations. I'm noticing that in many settings, whether it's a after-school program, a nonprofit, in a school building, in a daycare, expectations are not clear to our young people. They're not being communicated clearly. Instead, adults are assuming that children know what to do without telling them what to do or without showing them what to do. The second thing is that when expectations are communicated, are explained, children are not being held accountable to those expectations, or they're only held accountable when it's convenient for the adult. The last part about expectations I want to elevate is adults are not modeling or doing the behaviors they want children to do. So children learn primarily by what they see. So when communication fails, when teaching fails, breaking things down fails, what you have left is observation. And what they observe you doing is what they are going to copy. So if you are telling them to do something that is opposite what you actually do, 9 times out of 10, they are not going to do it, or they're not going to respect it. So kids are not mind readers. They need to be taught how to do things. So if they are saying they don't know how to do something, instead of belittling them, instead of making them feel bad about not knowing how, just take that opportunity to teach them. We need to take more time to teach our kids what our standards and expectations are, and less time complaining about why they're not meeting them. When we do that, we bring down their self-esteem and their self-worth, and they do not believe they can achieve it, or they feel like there's no point in achieving it, and then they shut down. And that's a huge trigger. And it sounds like a very simple thing, but it is something that we do so easily, naturally, because if you grew up in a Caribbean household like I did, that's basically the way we were raised. But again, the time was different. The environment was different. Expectations were clear at that time. So we cannot continue to treat children the way we were treated when the entire environment of society at this time is different. The other main thing I wanted to highlight while you're setting expectations and trying to train kids up, it's an exhausting task. Yes, it is. It's a lot of work, because children are a lot of work. That's why back in the day, you used to tell you, like, don't have kids early, because it's a huge responsibility to take care of kids. They require a lot of attention. That's why moms are encouraged to stay home the first 4 years of a child, like the upbringing of a child. Like, it takes a lot of work to raise a child. It takes a lot of work to teach a child. They're not going to just do what you say when you say it. They have to be trained. They have to go through trial and error. They have to have a space to talk and process why things are the way they are. And as those things may seem like a nuisance to adults today, that is what is required to raise children. Currently, our kids are being ignored. If they can't sit down, be quiet, or if they have a hard time sitting down and being quiet and not questioning or challenging anything, they are considered disruptive. They are considered whatever label that you want to slap on them that people are so quick to jump to, and they're not getting a time to train, practice, make a mistake, process, try again, especially our Black boys. That is part of what training is. They are not going to always get everything the first time. They are going to make mistakes. They're going to have moments, but you can prevent and minimize those mistakes and those moments when expectations are clear, they're consistent, and they are modeled. So right now, I will take some questions, some Q&As. I could drop some anecdotes here, but I'd rather spend time just taking some questions and answers from any parents, youth professionals. If you have a situation, if you agree or disagree with what I just said, let me know. Y'all can shoot me a DM and I can respond next week. But I really want you to think about, how clear are you in advance setting expectations for the young people in your life? If you are overwhelmed and kids are coming home from school and they throwing their clothes on the floor, they throwing their book back on the floor, they're not doing their homework, it's like, okay, well, what is the routine of the home when you come home from school? What are those expectations? If you haven't really thought about it or discussed it, then now is the time to do a reset and sit them down and be like, when you come home from school, from 4 to 5 is change your clothes, eat your snack, and then do your homework. After your homework is done, then you go take a shower. After you take a shower, then you could have 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, of TV time. Then at 8, 9 o'clock, it's time for you to go to bed. There needs to be structure and routine that is consistent and is the same. And you have to hold them accountable even when you're tired. You can't say, I'm so tired, I don't want to deal with this right now. Because that's when you poke holes in your system, your structure, or your routine. You want to make sure that whatever the expectations are, they're clear, they're consistent, and you model it. You should have a routine when you come home from work as well. They should see it. Well, I'm doing A, B, and C. You're doing X, Y, and Z. And we doing it every day. Period. We should have dinner together. How was your day? How was my day? Let's have a conversation. And then it's bedtime. Those are the things that need to come back into our daily lives and routines in order to get our kids back. So if you felt that message, if that helped you, God blessed you, definitely drop some comments in the chat. If you have any questions, you can drop your questions below, and I will definitely answer and address your questions. Thank you so much for listening to Bringing Back the Village with the Ultimate Social Worker. And you can always reach out to me, hit me in the DMs if you would like to schedule a consultation call to kind of talk more deeper about your situation. See you guys next week. And remember, you're so resilient.